What's up, everybody? Welcome to our brand new podcast, Cut the Nonsense. I'm joined by my co-host, Rob Bastow. He is based out of New York, USA.
Based.
I am based out of Kentucky, USA. So a little bit of distance there. We're going to go into some introductions since this is our first week. Rob, you want to go ahead?
Absolutely, and thank you, Zion. Yeah, I'm located out of New York, and I'm actually not the biggest New York fan when it comes to sports. I mean, as you could see from the shirt, diehard 49er fan, born and raised. Me and Zion have been buddies now for over 3 years. We love talking sports, and it's just been a passion of ours to do something like this. I will say, unfortunately, I am a Met fan from New York. Like there's a lot of, stuff that comes with being a New York sports fan. And yeah, it's just a pleasure to be here. And I look forward to this.
All right, my name is Zion. I am based out of Kentucky. Unfortunately, we don't have any professional sports teams, so I am a Cowboys fan. Peep the Sox.
Oh,
So you got the Cowboys and 49ers going at each other constantly. We'll get into that at some point. Probably come playoff times.
absolutely.
We'll just be at each other's throat the whole time, like we are every year. But
Every year.
yeah, unfortunately, no Kentucky-based pro teams. Hopefully that'll change soon. I would be a Bengals fan, but they're just not my team. Go Cowboys, you know?
There also hasn't been much to root for besides,
That's true. That's true.
Joey B.
Yep. Hey, I mean Jamar. Come on.
Well, yeah, I'm saying like since this team has been
Yeah,
built,
since
there's
this
been nothing
team,
to root
yeah,
for.
there's nothing.
Yeah.
I'm not supporting Andy Dalton. I'm sorry.
No,
It's not
I mean AJ
happening.
Green was it. He was
Yeah.
the man. That was it.
Alrighty. So, little timeline for the podcast. Today we're going to be going over our predictions for NFL Week 10. We're going to go into some debate topics. It's going to get a little heated in here. So I hope you're prepared. You might want to lower the volume a little bit if you haven't already. And let's hop right into it. So our first game is Thursday Night Football, Snake. We have Panthers at Bears. So, you want to start us off?
I'll start off right away by saying we're probably talking about the two worst football teams in the NFL right now. I'm not going to touch too much on the Carolina Panthers quarterback just yet. I think Bryce Young has a lot of heart, but I think that the team itself is very bad. I think they're garbage, actually.
I agree.
And the Bears themselves, I mean, Zion, you could agree or not, but they are one of those organizations that just like they may win a ring back in the 80s, but they are terrible. They are just
I
so
agree. I agree.
mismanaged.
Management, it sucks. They handle every quarterback wrong. Poor Justin Fields, man. Poor Justin Fields. Poor
I
Caleb
know.
Williams. I mean,
That's more than I know. I know. I, if he goes there, if he really does go there, Godspeed.
yep. All right. So this is our prediction segment. So who do you have? Give me a reason too.
Okay, so for that game, I obviously will go with the Bears. I know it sounds like I just shit on them, but um, you know, I don't know what Carolina really is working with. I think they have Adam Thielen. I don't even know if
They
he's
do.
playing.
They do. He is.
Okay. And that's how little it shows because, their offensive line is terrible. Okay. So the poor young man, Bryce Young, he can't even throw the ball, right? He's a little bit smaller statured. He can't even probably, you know what I mean?
I
So,
will. I will give you news as of today. Justin Fields is not playing Thursday. He's not playing. It's going to be Tyson Baggett. I believe that's his
okay.
name. Is this their
Tyson
backup?
Baggett, yeah. All right. So then maybe I have a little bit more faith, and that is no shade yet at Justin Fields. We will talk about that in a couple minutes. But I love it, and I don't want anybody to think I don't like Justin Fields, the athlete. I do. I just think he is wrong for Chicago.
He is.
My prediction, though, I do have the Bears winning probably 21-10, because I just don't see Carolina. They may win one game this season, if
Yeah,
that.
they won their one already.
Oh, they did.
Yeah,
Who'd they beat?
the
I didn't even know
Texans.
that.
Texans, I think. I think they beat the Texans.
That's crazy.
It
You
is.
know what's funny? I didn't even like bat an eye thinking about it because okay, so they got their one. Then
Yep.
that's it.
They do. Bears have 2 right now.
I think
Yeah.
the Giants have what?
Panthers 1 and
2?
7. Bears 2 and 7. Giants also 2 and 7. So as of right now,
So are the
but-
Patriots.
Yeah, true. But you have to remember, like, upcoming for the draft, Panthers traded the Bears their first round pick. So
That's true.
that's
That
probably
is
gonna
true.
be number one. Maybe the Cardinals. They also have a 1-7 record.
I mean, look,
1-7, 1-6. But
I
we'll
see
get
the
into them later.
yeah. I was gonna say about the Panthers, they they shit themselves. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you give up your number one pick or what was it, number one, correct?
First
And
rounder, yeah.
first rounder, and right now they really don't have a leg to stand on.
No,
It's going to take a couple of years.
they're gonna be relying on free agency way heavier than a lot of other teams, and I don't know that it's gonna. Maybe for their defense, it might pan out for defense. A lot of the times, it doesn't on offense.
It'll. They need a defense though. That's evident as well.
So for me, I think the Panthers have a few bright spots. I've never been the biggest Bryce Young fan. I think he will develop. I think he'll be average or to above average at some point in his career. Right now, very below average. Definitely progressing a lot slower than, CJ Stroud, pick number 2 overall.
Yeah.
That's
a stud.
Yeah, there are a few bright spots. Adam Thielen he's looked pretty good this year for him. Their running back, Chuba Hubbard. I don't know if you've heard of this guy. I have him on my fantasy team. He's a stud. He's a good back. You want him in the backfield, along with Miles Sanders, because they have Miles Sanders and Chuba Hubbard back there. Miles Sanders has been injured, so Chuba's been getting a lot more playing time. He's been a bright spot. Their defense, obviously Brian Burns, he's been great.
Yeah.
But going into my prediction, I do have the Bears winning a little bit higher than you, 27-17. Okay. For the single fact, Carolina lets up 28.3 points a game.
That's an unreal stat. I was looking at that.
Yeah, they let up 310 passing yards a game. I just don't. The defense doesn't get it done. They don't get to the quarterback very often. Even with the Bears having a backup quarterback in, he proved himself against the Raiders that he can be a backup. He proved he can put up some points. I know the Bears defense isn't much better. They're letting up 27 a game, 26.9. But I do think that the Bears will get it done 27-17.
That's a good prediction. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with it. I had stats ready for Justin Fields because Baguette was a last minute decision, but honestly, Justin Fields in his entire career hasn't thrown more. He has 7 over 300 passing yard games. Okay, most of it's done with his legs.
3 years in the league.
3 years in the league, and you ready for this stat, Zion? 7-26 as a starter in the NFL.
I actually getting into that stat. We'll go into our first debate topic. So, first debate topic is: do the Bears tank for Caleb Williams, or do they ride with Justin Fields? I have him as 5-20 as a starter. 5-20 as a starter for games that he started and finished.
Okay.
For his career. I believe those are the games he was also injured in, that he got injured or came out at some point.
Gotcha.
He is 5-20 as a starter. So, what do you think? The Bears tank for Caleb at this point, or do you think they ride with Justin Fields?
I think they have to. The reason I believe that is Caleb Williams is he's big time. He's 5-star. He's playing for USC. Although they've dropped a lot recently, they're losing some big games, especially to Washington this past weekend.
That's their defense.
It is.
Their offense is putting up almost 60 a night.
That's what I was going to say, is that he is doing his job, but he is going to probably also, Caleb is probably, obviously he's going to probably apply for the draft. And when he does, I mean, if he sees Chicago on the thing, will he stay another year, to avoid it?
That's the question.
I mean, I would.
But I mean, they have 1st and 3rd overall, more than likely, because they're going to have Carolina's pick and their own.
Right. I mean, it's true.
So, I mean, do you trade him away? If Caleb doesn't commit, do you trade him away? Wait for the next year to get him? Ride with Justin for another year?
I tank. Look, I tank. I think that the experiment with Justin Fields is over. It's over. And there's nothing more to it. I don't think him as an athlete is bad. I think he's tremendous. I don't think the scheme that they have going on in Chicago, no matter who they're bringing in, it just doesn't seem to materialize into anything. We get a couple of flashes of dominance because he now has DJ Moore to throw to. Chase Claypool shit
Yeah.
the bed. He's over down in Miami, probably on the bench. I've never heard his name down
Yeah, I
there.
haven't either.
I know you don't expect to, right? They have two studs down there.
Cole Kmet at tight end.
Right,
for the
exactly.
Bears.
So my take, right, especially when I see stats of what Caleb Williams is doing right in the USC right now, he's playing
It's
against
insane.
big time teams.
He did have a few game stretch where he wasn't looking so good. He threw
No.
6 interceptions like throughout 3 games, I think.
I mean, look against Notre Dame. Now Notre Dame is
He threw 4
27
that game.
3, and he didn't even
three.
throw for 200 passing yards.
Yeah, Notre Dame
So-
got to him. Top 10 team in the country.
It is no question. It's just it's about if he doesn't have the offensive line, which we know that Chicago doesn't, is he going to get easily rattled? Right.
True.
My thing is that I think that they tank for Caleb Williams because you need somebody that can throw. Now, Justin Fields has proven to me with the stat of 3 years, he's only thrown for over 300 yards 7
I get it.
times.
Yeah.
So
So I'm gonna rebuttal you a little bit.
go ahead.
I think they don't. I don't think they tank. Obviously, Justin Fields' last 2 games fully healthy. Him and DJ Moore had a hookup connection. I mean, DJ Moore was going off. Justin Fields was looking good. He was looking, things were a little bit bright in Chicago. I think that alone has given him the rest of the season, at least. Now,
I could agree with that.
now you end up with first overall pick, like it's looking. I think you have to take Caleb Williams. I don't think they're tanking for him, but I think they have to take him,
Well, I feel like if you
even as a trade asset, or because they're both going to be high value on the trade market. There's no doubt about it. So even like, let's say the Bears go on to win 6 games this year, and they get like the number 12, or probably not that high, probably like the 8 pick. But you have the number 1 from Carolina, you still take Caleb Williams, no brainer.
Yeah,
Now,
absolutely.
do you let them battle it out in training camp and trade the other, or do you try and get the value for one of them on draft night, or do you trade the number 1? I think Justin Fields has bought some time. They see he doesn't have weapons. They see he doesn't have an offensive line or defense. I think they tried to shore some of that up this year. It failed. So do you go into free agency? You sign more? I think they do. I think they could flip this team around with Justin Fields, but if the opportunity comes, you don't pass on a once-in-a-lifetime talent at number 1 overall. But the way things are going, they're going to have like the 1st and 3rd overall. I think Justin Fields has bought enough time. I think you draft Caleb Williams, or actually I think you trade the number 1. I think you trade the number 1 and you draft Marvin Harrison 3rd overall.
See, that is where we'll defer on that. I agree with a lot of what you're saying because it makes total sense, right? It's just, why am I going to waste the opportunity to trade Justin Fields and get some value out of it? Because a lot of teams are looking for a quarterback, and he may fit the mold in the system that's there. Especially, I mean, think about it. You give him maybe even to, let me think, like even New England, right? Now I know Belichick isn't like the biggest when
Yeah.
it comes to running QBs, but I do think with a young quarterback that even he could mold,
He
or
did sign Cam Newton.
He
You do
did.
have to remember that.
we can't forget that. And honestly, Cam didn't play that bad. He really didn't,
didn't.
until till the end.
Yeah.
Now, battling it out is totally fine. But why? Now, I know you don't play to tank, right? These guys are giving their lives every single day on the field. But you also don't want to win too many games that it gets you out of range of getting a generational talent.
Yeah.
Look, I'll say it again. I don't think that Justin Fields' career is anywhere near done. I think he's going to have a very lengthy one. I think his time in Chicago is.
I think his time in Chicago is.
Yes.
I don't agree as of yet. I want to wait till the end of the season, see how he's done. Because when he comes back healthy, I want to see where he picks up. I'm definitely giving him till the end of the season. before I make any type of that decision. I think he's bought himself some time though, and I think he's lucky that he bought himself some time. That he had DJ Moore to buy him some time.
You better be careful. Baguette
He
may
better.
take his job right now.
I know.
You never know.
No. He is not. He looked
Yeah,
good
no.
his first game, and then ever since
Then
it
that
hasn't
was
been
it.
very good. So, if Justin Fields does get traded, where do you think he goes? Who do you think would be a good fit?
There's a couple of spots, right? There's a couple of spots. The scheme that's going on right now in Arizona is something that they're used to for Justin Fields because they've had Kyler Murray for years.
True.
I don't think that fit, which we will probably talk about, is going to stay after this season. So I don't want to put Justin Fields in a bottom of the barrel situation, but if he does get traded, it's going to be to turn a franchise around. I would bring him to Arizona. I'd bring in some guys around him, right? Get him in the NFC West, let him get some West Coast offense running through his blood, especially with a running quarterback, right? Because we saw how that worked back in the day with Kaepernick, Russell Wilson. I think that it's a good fit. I also could see him going to New England. And if we want any sort of redemption for Belichick's legacy, he needs to bring in somebody that brings a different tone to the game. So my thoughts are Arizona or New England.
I agree. My thoughts were Arizona first. Surprise, the Raiders. I think
not a bad
I think
choice,
you can go to the
actually.
Raiders because you bring him in around a bunch of guys who are already in win now mode. And he gets to be mentored by a bunch of guys in win now. They're used to winning some games, more than the Bears at least. Obviously, you have Devontae coming from the Packers. He's used to winning some games, and he is upset right now.
Yeah, he is.
And then you have Josh Jacobs in the backfield, a running back like he's never had before, to definitely take off some of the load. Just check that thing up to Devontae. He's going to come down with it 9 out of 10 times. You have a good secondary receiver in Jacoby Myers. Obviously, they don't have Darren Waller anymore. But then the defense. The defense isn't bad. They are letting up 21.4 points a game. They're ranked
Max
around...
Crosby's a dog.
Yeah, they're ranked around 20th in the league, but you have Max Crosby on that defense. I think you could trade him to the Raiders for a second and a third. And
I would definitely say a second. Absolutely.
in the
He's definitely worth
draft,
that.
in the draft, if the Raiders were going to do that, I think they take a cornerback first round. Take a cornerback, shore up some of that defense. You have the offense. You bring in Justin Fields. Let's get to the playoffs. The Raiders need some playoffs.
They do.
Yes.
Especially with the not only do they have Oakland fans still, they're in Vegas, right? Big prime time. They have the Sphere out there now. They got a lot of entertainment. I think that's an excellent choice. Do I think that Chicago will be smart enough to do it? No, I think they'll dish him out for something, right? A little bit less. We got to see also where Devontae is. Sure, the Raiders have spoken about not wanting to, giving up Devontae.
Yeah, they don't want to.
I don't know. I mean, if he remains unhappy, and he's got to be okay with the choice of quarterback. Now,
He was
Jimmy
not happy with
Bench.
Jimmy. Oh
Jimmy
my
Bench.
goodness. Yeah.
I've been through that, folks. Look, die hard here. Went through it, right? You could say what you want. He's a decent player. That's it. At best. Jimmy is not the guy. So bringing in Justin Fields, I can't disagree with Zion over here. I still think though that Arizona would be the best choice for him, starting over fresh with new guys.
I agree.
If they can fit him in the Raiders with their cap space and everything, sure. Because he's coming up on the end of his rookie contract after this season.
Yeah, true.
Coming up, right? So you're going to have to give him some money, and he's going to be balling out wherever he is. So they got to be able to maintain guys like Max Crosby, who they have under contract. Obviously, Devontae. You'll have to get, Josh Jacobs is going to have. I think he just got a contract, or maybe he needs one. Okay,
He just got one.
So you're going to have to try to. You're gonna have to pay Justin Fields the starting quarterback salary. I mean, if he's playing for a team like that, right?
Yeah.
So I'd say Arizona, Raiders.
I think Arizona is the most realistic. I think the Raiders would probably be the best fit.
I could agree with that. Absolutely.
But moving on from that, we'll get into the Sunday slate. First game of the day. It's a morning game. It's over in Germany.
Another Frankfurt game.
It is. We have Colts Patriots. Very disappointing game. For German fans, I'm sorry.
I mean,
I am sorry. Um,
what's the
but
German word for sleep? Because you might as well just do that
you
instead of
may as
waking
well.
up.
You may as well. Good thing is they get to see some Jonathan Taylor. I suppose. He's.
Yeah.
I mean, he's healthy. Top.
I also like,
top five, top
I like
seven
their,
running back in the league.
What's their wide receiver's name?
Michael Pittman.
Michael Pittman. I think
Yeah.
he's very good.
He
I think
is.
he's very good.
Um, Obviously Anthony Richardson is out. The rookie that the quarterback that they drafted this year, 5th overall, from Florida.
Right.
But Gardner Minshew stepped in.
He did.
He's done his job so far.
He has.
They're putting up points. They are putting up points. I think they are averaging. Let me take a look real quick.
Yeah, I have no complaints. Well, I have complaints with the Colts, but right now, honestly, I don't have many complaints. I think that Anthony Richardson was a great acquisition. I think they're going to have to mold him. But not only is he a big guy, he is a dual threat, but he has a cannon of an arm. And I think once he gets going and is actually healthy, see, the Colts have always lacked something, and that's called an offensive line, even back to the days of Peyton. So build around him, learn from your mistakes. That's why Andrew Luck retired. So
yeah, I mean, Colts are 7th in the league in points per game. They're putting up points.
that's insane. That's what I mean.
Yeah, they're averaging 25.8 points per game. 26 points a game. With a backup quarterback. Like, they've put up 28 plus these past few weeks. It's been pretty impressive. So I think that. What's your prediction?
Well, it's obviously going to be the Colts beating that sorry Belichick team. Belichick, I don't really. We're going to get into this topic because I know we have this topic slated, but I honestly, Zion, I could see them maybe winning another game or two.
Yeah.
And I know I sound like I'm saying that a lot, but there are a lot of teams that look that way.
Yeah.
And
I don't
you
think.
could have.
I mean, what does their schedule look like? You keep talking. I'm gonna pull up their schedule.
Yeah. So when what I'm talking about here is Mac Jones, the experiment right over there. It's not working. Okay, and Belichick has that same demeanor. We're on to Cincinnati. It's the same stuff. We don't need to have that quote unquote Patriot way. I don't believe the Patriot way is Belichick. I believe the Patriot way is Tom. I always did. Because Belichick had been a coach for years prior, and he started to become acknowledged once his, system quarterback came in 2001 and filled in for Drew Bledsoe. So
Yep.
I have to go with my guys in blue. I've got to go with the Colts. My prediction for that game is probably going to be 27-6. I think that the Colts with DeForest Buckner on their side, they got a pretty solid, they have a scrappy defense, not the best. I'm going to look up exactly what they're averaging on defense, but
26.9.
That's what they give up, or that's what they're scoring?
That's what they give up.
So that's what they give up, but you got to remember the Patriots aren't doing anything. So I think even the worst defenses right now, that offense is not clicking over in New England. 27-6.
I have a little bit different take. I do have the Colts winning. Scores a little bit different. I have Colts winning 34-21. I think they're going to put some points up. I mean, over the last 4 weeks, ever since they got shut out by New Orleans, they had that 38-3 loss to Dallas. They had the 34-0 loss to New Orleans.
Yeah.
Ever since that game, they put up 17 on the Raiders, 25 on the Bills, 17 on the Dolphins, 17 on the Commanders. Obviously, the Bills, top defense in the league. They put up 25 on them. They put up 29 because they won that game. They did beat the Bills.
The Bills are not special
we'll get into that.
Yeah.
But the defense is top 5 in the league. So that was a little bit impressive. 17 against the Dolphins. You're not gonna outscore them, but 17, come on. 17 against the Commanders, come on. I think I told you I was gonna pull up their schedule. They do play the Giants at New York.
That's probably a free win because they may be worse.
And that's about all. They play Colts, Giants, Chargers, Steelers, Chiefs, Denver. Denver It's at Denver though. I think Denver gets that one taken care of.
I think Denver could win that one.
Buffalo again and the Jets. The Jets in
Jets are up
week
in the
17. Week 17.
Depends on if the Jets are fighting for a spot.
True. I do have the Colts winning 34-21. Now the Colts, they've been putting up some points. It's been pretty impressive. They're 4-5. They're definitely in that AFC playoff mix. They are a little bit out of it right now. But that's a tough conference. That is a tough conference.
Absolutely, it is.
They could get a few more wins under their belt, which I think they can because they play the Patriots, then they play Tampa Bay, then they play the Titans, but then they play the Bengals, the Steelers, Falcons, Raiders, and the Texans. They could very well be chasing that 7th seed. I think there's a world where they can. But past 4 weeks for them, they put up 27, 27, 38, and 20. Some solid points. So I'm taking Colts 34-21. I think that's the end of it. I think we both agree Colts win.
Yeah,
Easy.
no, I definitely agree. And one last thing I want to touch on before we move to the next thing is that the Colts this year have 25 touchdown passes to where the entire Patriot team has 15.
Yep.
So that should just speak for itself.
It should. So we'll get into our little debate over the Patriots here. Got it pulled up. Is Mac Jones the future of New England?
I don't think he's the future of next week. I just look, Zion. I know his roots right from Alabama.
Yeah.
It was Alabama.
Yeah.
It was Alabama, right? The trio came from there. I think he was the weakest link. I'm not sold
By
on
far.
Tua just yet, but I do think he was the weakest link out of all of them. I'm going to say it just flat out. I don't want to put all the blame on Mac Jones. His future there is done. But I do think that Robert Kraft needs to start acting and stop living in the past, right?
Yes.
Because winning is behind them now. And the days of Belichick seem to be coming to a close.
They do.
Oh.
But I think
So-
Belichick wants to coach.
So then, you know what? You're going to have to do something. You can't keep acting like you're this absolute guru.
Yeah.
We get it. You've won a lot of games.
I mean,
You're
the
third in
question-
history.
Obviously, you see the memes. What is Belichick without Tom, or what
It's
is
the
Tom without
truth.
Belichick? But
Tom is a
I think
winner.
the truth is, it was Tom all along. I
It
think we're
was.
starting to see it now. Obviously,
It's like I
Tom,
said.
Tom had more weapons than what they do now, but he made it work.
I mean, you could sit there and you could say that, right? You could say Tom had those weapons. I think Tom made a lot of weapons other than like an Edelman,
He did.
right? A
Or
Gronk,
yeah.
like Gronk obviously was a
Randy
freak
Moss.
of nature. I mean, yes, like, for the season and a half or 2
Yeah.
seasons they had him, of course, right? But Tom made a lot of receivers, Chris Hogan,
Yeah.
right? Wes Welker, these, and Wes Welker didn't even show up in the Super Bowl that year. Mr. Butterfingers, they called him. I mean, Tom, even in losses to the Giants, played. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He gave his loss to the Eagles. He had 500 passing yards,
Yeah.
right? That's the Patriot way. You don't give up until the bell is rung. And honestly,
Mac
I don't-
Jones is not that.
he's not. He's
do-
not. And I know
I do have
people,
a little bit of a stat here for you.
me
The
hear
New England Patriots with Mac Jones as their starter. You gonna take a guess?
it definitely cannot be good.
It's
Let me
over.
say.
It is over 500. 16-15 over these past 3 seasons. You're a game over 500, and you're about to be at 500. Coming up this Sunday.
Yeah.
Right about noontime. You'll be at 500 with Mac Jones as your starter.
Yeah, he's not winning that
I
one.
think it's time to move on. I think Bo Nix is available. I think that Washington QB, I can't remember his name. He's going to be available. I think there's going to be some good options available. The obvious
Cameron Ward?
Yes.
Oh, no, that's Washington State.
No, not Cameron Ward. Not a bad quarterback though. Washington.
Washington State. It's Washington
What is their mascot? It's
College.
the purple one.
Yeah. Michael Penix?
Is that his name?
Yeah, Michael
Washington
Penix.
Huskies.
Yes, he's Michael Penix Jr.
Yes.
Yes,
Michael
Michael Penix Jr. I like him a lot, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, he's been a stud this year. He's the most passing yards in college football.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, no doubt.
who else is available? There's going to be the Notre Dame quarterback. He's looked
Yeah,
pretty good. I don't
yeah.
think he'll go first round. I don't. Um, I think he can go second though, second to third. Um, but there's going to be some options out there. I think Bo Nix should probably be their top target. Um, bring in Bo Nix, let him run the offense, and sign a wide receiver. Please sign a wide receiver for
They
him to
need
throw
one.
to.
They
Hunter
need one.
Henry is not cutting it. At
He's
tight
not.
end.
I mean, he's doing what he can, but
Yeah.
it's not enough, right? And
I don't think I
honestly,
can. Other than Juju, I can't name another wide receiver on that team. I think he's
I
their
didn't.
wide receiver one. Maybe.
And that's not saying
And
much.
it's Juju. He should be like maybe a second on a bad team. Maybe a second on a bad team. Maybe a second on the Panthers behind Adam Thielen.
Yeah, that's how I feel. That's how I feel. New England, I think it's going to sound pretty interesting what my take is going to be. I think you obviously draft, right? I think that Belichick is getting a little bit tired of that because he knows all.
Yeah.
He'll probably look within the league, and it's going to be interesting because this is a name that you're never going to believe I'll say. I think that honestly, he should go for Carson Wentz. Now, I know Carson Wentz was just picked up by the Rams, right? I know he may not be the greatest QB we've seen because we've seen him with the Eagles, but he played very, very well with Indianapolis that year. They got rid of him. He played pretty decent with the Washington Commanders, and they had a terrible team, and they got rid of him as well. I don't think he's a bad quarterback. I think he's had a lot of bad circumstances
His
and a lot
sit
of
on the
injuries.
Eagles was good
It
until
was very good.
ACL.
Till ACL. I think that if you want to have somebody that's a veteran, right, instead of always drafting new and having to have them learn the process, you at least, okay, so here, you at least bring in a veteran QB. I would at least bring in Carson Wentz just to toss it around with your rookie.
I think if you don't want to draft and you want a quarterback with upside, if you're the Patriots, a surprising name could mix in with New England could be Kyler Murray.
That's an interesting one. Honestly,
I think he's immature, but you put him under Bill. Put him under Bill. He ain't gonna be
doing
immature
what he's been
anymore.
doing.
Yeah,
No.
I think he could be an interesting one that the Patriots should look at least. They should entertain it. Not
That's
saying
why I
they
said
will.
about Justin Fields. Remember,
Yeah,
like I said, Justin
obviously,
Fields.
yeah,
Yeah.
they could entertain that as well. I think
Well, running
Kyler Murray, he's off the Cardinals after this year, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
It's
just to save face for his career.
Yeah, but I think the Patriots could be they could be a sneaker in there. If you get Kyler Murray, you put him under Bill for a season, he's gonna act right. If he wants to
He
play.
definitely will. No, he's definitely going to act right. They just are going to need weapons around him as
True.
well.
True.
I think. Yeah.
All right. Well, moving on to the next game. This will be 1:00 games Sunday afternoon. Our first game is Texans at Bengals.
Yeah. That's
gonna be a quarterback showdown.
after the performance, right? Look, I never rule out my guy Joey B. Like that is, I gotta say I have a lot of respect for Mahomes. I gotta say Joe Burrow is probably my favorite in the league, when healthy. Not the best, but probably.
not Brock Purdy. Come on.
Don't be taking strays. Yeah, we got a whole segment for that. I love Joe Burrow, right? And I really like what I'm seeing from this young man, CJ Stroud. I think that he is phenomenal. I think that he is in the right situation with D'Amico Ryan as his coach. I
Yes.
kept telling you, Zion, that he is a tremendous defensive coordinator as to why Steve Wilkes
Yes.
that came along now for the Niners. You could just tell our defense, with all the talent, isn't having good formations at all. And you could put blame everywhere, right? But the problem is that it shows that when you lose somebody that has a good football mind, right, that
Mhm.
they could just bring their talents anywhere. And drafting CJ Stroud was unbelievable.
Home
470 passing yards, 5
Five.
touchdown passes. His accuracy is unbelievable. He's dropping dots in the end zone.
He's in the MVP conversation
I
as
think
a
that
rookie.
yeah,
This MVP is up for grabs, and if he takes the Texans to the playoffs, I think that there's a good chance he could win it.
yes. Do I think that they put on a show and they play well this week? Absolutely. Do
I
I
think
see them
so.
winning? No,
I don't
I
either.
don't. I don't think so. I still see Joe Burrow and the Bengals winning that game by a very close score. I'm going to say 28-23.
Okay, we're about on the same page there. I agree with you 100%. Um, I think is T Higgins still out? I think he is. I think T Higgins
T.
is still
Higgs is
out.
still out. Yes,
Yes.
he is.
Um,
As far as this upcoming week, yes.
yeah, I mean neither of them have the best defenses. Cincinnati's right around 11. Um, 11 giving up in points per game, and Detroit is not that far behind them by about 14. So they're both giving up points per game. You expect that. Cincinnati's defense has never been great. It's always been good enough to get them through the playoffs. They show up in big moments, but never been great. Texans, obviously, rebuild. Um, I have the Bengals winning 28-21. I think it'll be a touchdown. And
That's a okay.
I think the Texans will get a chance. I think that's how the game's going to end. I think Texans will get a chance down 28-21, and he'll get picked off for the second time this season. Because he's going to have to make a throw, and I think it just gets picked. I think that's how the game will end.
Oh, you mean so that, Superman, like, I love how people are like, oh, CJ Stroud, he hasn't thrown a pick this season, but when Brock Purdy had an 11-game stint of playing phenomenal, now that he's had 2 bad games, it's
CJ
like, oh,
Stroud's
he's
stone
terrible.
one. He's stone one.
Right.
He's stone one.
I see him throwing a pick in this game.
do
This is
too.
a big pressure game. There's
It
just
is.
no.
I
It's not
think
to say that he can't handle
If
it.
you win this game, you have a chance at the playoffs if you're the Texans. Over
Oh,
in
God,
over
absolutely.
in the AFC, I think you do. Obviously for D'Amico Ryans and CJ Stroud, that is a confidence boost if you make the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you go into his sophomore season, he ain't gonna have no sophomore slump.
No,
He'll
and
be ready to
especially
go.
You're beating a team that has been to the Super Bowl and the NFC Championship and is just coming off a road win against the 49ers that have like the 3rd ranked defense in the entire National Football League. I mean, getting a win there, for the Texans would be big.
There's a world where they get it done, but
I don't see it, though.
I don't see it this week. We both got Bengals. You got them 28-23. I got them 28-21.
Yes.
That brings up our next debate topic. So back to CJ Stroud. Was it an impressive performance or was it a fluke?
I don't see it as a fluke. I see a young man with a strong arm and a good sense of QB awareness. I also think he's coached by somebody that has found, started to build a good system because the Texans have needed it since the days back when Matt Schaub was actually their most winningest quarterback ever. I do like what I'm seeing from him. I do think that, going to a better situation definitely helped him. I think that if he went to Carolina, I don't know if he'd be playing this good.
Yeah,
at
and
all.
I don't think Bryce Young would be playing this well if he came to Houston. I don't.
No, I don't either. It's hard to tell because it's a lot of,
It's a lot of
assuming.
ifs, but
There's a lot of ifs and assuming, but my take would be that I do not think that this young man is a fluke. I think that he is going to be a star. I don't think that he'll be Patrick Mahomes, but I think he'll be in the discussion with like a Trevor Lawrence.
he's top 7 quarterback in the league right now.
Absolutely, no debating that.
His stats this season: 2,270 yards, 14 touchdowns to 1 interception.
It's incredible. That's actually like you'd never think that. I honestly think he'll win Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Oh, but there's no chance he does.
It's a landslide.
He
Yeah,
locked that
there's
up.
a landslide.
Barring
Yeah.
any type of injury, he locked that up.
Absolutely.
This week, this past week, he locked it.
But let me tell you something. If he could get this Bengals win, he definitely has it. He definitely has it. And it will. But that's my take. I think that this is a young man, and we're seeing maybe not a legend, but maybe an incredible talent for years to come.
I agree. He's going to be a star in the league. He's going to be a top 5 quarterback one day. There's no doubt about it. Coming down to the Texans, here's another one I wanted to kind of ask you. What do they do with this season? Do you think they shoot for the playoffs? Or do you think they try and tank a little bit, get a little bit better pick for some help?
I don't see a need to tank for that. I mean, when you have a quarterback that's as good as CJ Stroud, I mean, he's making all of his receivers look great. I mean, all of them had over 100
Okay.
passing yard,
Yeah.
receiving yard.
No. But okay, let's put this into perspective. I think Marvin Harrison's going to drop a little bit. I think he's going to drop to 4 or 5. I don't think he's going to go second overall like most mocks have him. He's looked great. I don't think he's looked that great. He will be a generational receiver, no doubt about it. He'll be like a Justin Jefferson in the league. But you get some word that Marvin Harrison's dropping down to 6, maybe, possibly 5, 6. Do you try to go get him, or do you play this season out and you try and trade up for him? Because they have Nico Collins. Nico Collins is their #1 receiver. Like, don't get me wrong, he's good, but he's not the next Randy Moss, Megatron. Marvin Harrison coming in is going to be.
Oh, I think he'll be an absolute generational talent, and obviously he's related to the great Marvin Harrison, correct? So,
Yeah.
he's a NFL superstar legend, Hall of Famer. It just runs in the family, it seems. I don't, however, tank. I don't agree with that. Not that you said that they should. What I'm saying is that I don't think that they should.
Yeah.
I think they have the guys right now, and it's showing that sometimes you don't need absolute all-stars. I mean, look at the Giants in 2011. Victor Cruz was playing great, but their supposed #1 receiver Hakeem Nicks was really, quiet. They had a bunch of guys even back in 2007 making catches. David Tyree making an unbelievable catch, right?
Sure.
It was a lucky, right? But I just don't see having to, if anything, maybe go out in free agency over the offseason and grab somebody. I don't think that you should tank your season away, especially when it's your first season together with your coach.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I could agree.
If they're doing this well, I don't see the point.
I don't think you tank. I do think when it comes draft time, I think the Texans aim to try and make the playoffs. I think they should try now. I think that they should. Especially if they get the win over the Bengals this week. You should definitely try and make playoffs. I don't think you should tank whatsoever, but when it comes draft time and they're sitting at a 14 through 18 pick, I think you look to trade it. I think you try and get Marvin Harrison out to Houston.
Yeah,
I think that is the #1 option for them. You put Marvin Harrison in that offense, he's 1,500-yard season. It's gonna be insane.
I can see it. I can see it. I just wouldn't tank for him.
I don't think you tank. But I do think you look to trade your pick in the draft and try and get him, especially if you hear he's falling. If you hear he's falling, definitely you move up.
I don't see him falling below like 6, but I do agree with what you're saying, right? Because like a generational talent is the same thing the Niners should have did with Patrick Mahomes. They went with Solomon Thomas, who I don't even know if he plays football anymore or he like shops at Sears or what he does now. But it definitely, hurts my heart that the GOAT is playing. Well, this generation's GOAT, right? This new generation is playing for Kansas City and not in a Niner uniform. So, I don't see him dropping, and I also don't. Right, like you don't want to make that kind of mistake by letting him go to another team, but it's almost like you have something good going here, and
True.
you're not going to naturally, don't naturally tank, but if you start messing up and you guys start really falling off, then I think it's into good consideration looking for a wide receiver, and if not, go to free agency and grab somebody.
True. All right, we'll move on to the next game. So next we have Saints at Vikings. I think this will be a spicy game.
I don't know. I think that the jar of magic that they had with Josh Dobbs coming in and doing that was really nice and sweet. I don't see them winning many more. Kirk O'Chains is out.
It's the Saints though.
It is the Saints. The Saints defense is fantastic. It's their offense that hasn't been.
Yeah, that's true. They're only letting up 19 points per game.
That's it. That's it. And most games I've seen them shut teams out. Like we said, the Patriots. So I have nothing.
They're scoring 21.7.
Now, did the Vikings beat my Niners? Yeah, because most teams have recently because they're just anemic at the moment. But that was with Kirk Cousins, right? They have Addison, who's playing really, really good in place of Jay Jettas right
Yeah.
now. And I think when they both come back with Josh Dobbs, they will play well. It's if is Justin Jefferson starting? Do we have any confirmation?
He returned to practice today.
Okay, so if
I
Justin
don't
Jefferson's
I don't think he'll play this week though. I think he gets cleared to play next week.
Okay, so here, this will be my prediction. If Justin Jefferson plays this week and they have him and Jordan Addison on both opposite sides, right? They will win that game with Josh Dobbs. It's going to be a very close one. I see it being very high because it's obvious that actually, I'm sorry. I don't see it being very high because of what I said with the Saints defense. I am probably going to say maybe 17-13. I don't see it being a very high scoring game. That defense over in
Who do you have
New
winning?
Orleans is great. I have, right now, I'm going to say the Vikings if Justin Jefferson is playing.
Okay.
If not, I have the Saints.
All right. So, whether Jay Jettis plays or not, Saints have Marshawn Lattimore. So, I picked the Saints. I got Saints.
Who do
winning.
they have on the other side, though? Because they do have Addison, who's playing really well, too.
Yeah, I don't know who their second corner is.
That's the thing. You could lock up Justin
Yeah,
Jefferson.
he could.
We'll see.
I don't know. I'd have to go look. I don't really want to.
Not worth it. They're a no name, as I know.
I think the Saints are in almost a must-win game. They have a few
Not almost. Definite.
No, it's not definite. I think it's almost because they have quite a few divisional games left. To try and win the South, the NFC South. So I do have the Saints winning this game 24-21. Regardless of if Jay Jettis plays or not, it will be his first game back. He's going to be a little slow. But they do have Jordan Addison and they have KJ Osborne. He is in concussion protocol. I don't think he's gotten cleared to play, but I think he was on pace too. He is a tremendous wide receiver 3. That wide receiver core is nuts. I think it's almost up there. After this season, I think it's going to almost be up there with Cincinnati's.
I feel like it is a must-win game, though, Zion. I disagree with you on that. The reason I see is because I don't have their record up at the moment, but the NFC sure is pretty wide open, but it's pretty designated now who the few teams are that are really good, and you don't really want to fall so far behind. We got the Niners at 5-3, we got the Dallas Cowboys sitting at 5-3. We also have the Detroit Lions at 5-3, right? You don't want to start having too many losses in the category because you also have the Eagles that are 7-1 or 8-1. They're just going to take the number 1
Saints
seed.
and the Vikings are 5-4.
Okay.
The reason I don't think it's must win is because they have such a weak division. It's the NFC South. I mean, you have the Saints, the Bucks,
it is
the
kind
Falcons,
of
and the
kind of free
Panthers.
wins.
I don't think it's a must-win game yet. I think it's almost a must-win game. Like, it'd be really nice to win this, but not a must-win. Like, you have to win this or you're not gonna make the playoffs because they can win the South.
Oh yeah, but you definitely want to keep pace with these other teams.
True.
So
one of the biggest things I think that's gone overlooked this year, Derek Carr. I think Derek Carr has gone very overlooked. I don't think he's gotten enough criticism. I think obviously they're 5-4. So he deserves his praise for getting them that far. But Taysom Hill's carried them the past few games. Derek Carr he hasn't fit in well. It's not that he's not a good quarterback, because he is.
yeah.
He's a top half of the league quarterback when he's clicking. But he has not fit in. He has not fit in with that wide receiving core very well. With Chris Olave, Michael Thomas, and those guys. He doesn't seem to just jive with him. He doesn't seem to mesh very well so far. If he can turn that around, I think they do win the South. But as of right now, I don't have them winning the South. I have the Falcons.
Well, when it comes to Derek Carr, I actually really like Derek Carr quite a bit. I think that a lot of his career was screwed over down in Raiders territory. I think we could agree on that.
Yeah.
He's sitting with 2100 over 2100 passing yards right now, 10 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. It may not be the number one, quarterback in the league. Far from it. He has a 65.5% completion percentage right now.
Yeah.
It's definitely nothing to sneeze at. He is playing good. I think he has to gel a little bit better. I will totally agree with you. His wide receiver core is not bad. It's actually good.
I
So
don't. It's
I need
not
to see
even that
more.
he hasn't played good. He's played good enough to
Yeah,
get
no,
them to where they
yeah.
are. It's part. Have you seen him on the field with them?
I've
It's
seen it. I've seen it.
personalities.
It's the stats too, right? Like we use stats to decide things, but it's like they say about guys like Burrow,
Yeah.
right? Dishing it off. They don't talk about certain plays that
The
you can only see
chemistry.
when you're watching.
Yeah, they
Yes,
don't talk about like him and Jamar. The reason they can make those plays is because they have the chemistry.
they do.
Like,
They do.
but Derek Carr does not have that.
I think he needs to do that. I think that that's something that they need to figure out.
Yeah.
He's used to a system that was very toxic over there. So,
Yeah.
um, I do
Other
see
than,
Derek. I do see him being successful in New
I think
Orleans.
he can
just-
be, yes.
Yeah,
But he
yes.
needs to get on the same page as the wide receivers.
Okay.
That way,
I could
he can
agree.
he can make those game-winning plays. Because as of right now, I think if he gets into the playoffs in the wild card round, and he's going against, who would it be right now? It would be, who's second seed? Is it the Lions? I think it's the Lions.
Either the Lions or Niners right now.
49ers third, as I saw that
Third.
graphic today, because they, as of right now, they go against the Cowboys. I think, yeah. But so I think it's the Lions, and that could be a winnable game for them. That favors them. Oh, not favors them, but with their defense, it could be a game. And I think if you come down to a game-winning drive with Derek Carr, it's not going to happen right now.
No, yeah, I could agree. I don't see too many clutch moments from him, but I
No.
also won't rule out that he's not capable of it. So
Yeah.
we'll see what
Um,
happens. That's
yeah.
really all.
We'll see what happens. Other than that, I don't think this is a must-win game for the Saints. That was our debate of this one.
I will still see it as a must-win game because I think every game obviously matters. And again, like a lot of these teams are staying together with their like wins to losses.
I don't say it's must-win because I think they're kind of realistic. I don't think they expect to make a Super Bowl. I think they expect to make the playoffs, see what they can do. Especially with Derek Carr and a quarterback now. And now next year, I think like, if it came down to this, it would be a must-win game. But you're trying to develop with your new quarterback in there, test some things, and you have a weak NFC South. I don't think it's a must-win yet. That's my reasoning.
I gotcha.
So next game we have this. This will be a spicy one. We have Packers at Steelers. This will be a spicy matchup. You got George Pickens, the hothead, against
Yeah,
Jair.
George.
Against Jair,
Jair is very good. Very,
who
good.
can also be a hothead. I think it's gonna be
Oh,
fun.
absolutely.
I think it's gonna be fun.
I think it'll be a battle of mediocre, right? Because both of those teams are mediocre.
Hmm.
There's no real way to say
Well,
it.
I mean,
Well, Mike Tomlin is
The
so worried
Steelers are
about
getting it
keeping
done.
his. Yeah, but Mike Tomlin, it's like
they're
I
5 and
respect him,
3.
but it's always the same, right? It's more about like we look at the stat that Mike Tomlin has a winning record. He's always got these teams winning, right, finishing a season. What does he have to show? He's got one Super Bowl win and one right, and the other one just an appearance, and I believe they
That's
lost.
more than a lot of coaches have.
It is absolutely, absolutely, and his winningness is unbelievable. But when are they getting back? When they were 11-0, they
Well,
didn't
you're
make
not
the
getting
playoffs that
back
year.
with Kenny Pickett.
No, absolutely not. That is, I'd rather honestly like have the mascot throw the ball. I do not like Kenny Pickett, honestly at all. I'm not a fan of Jordan Love. I'm not at all, another guy that
I'm
is
not
filling in a
that
big
big
role.
either.
And he's not doing it for me. I see it being a slugfest of just two bad teams. I see Jair pretty
Bad
much shutting
teams.
him.
The Steelers are 5 and 3.
I don't see them finishing. I see them finishing with a winning record and not making it to the playoffs once again.
They're in the
When was
playoffs
the
right
last
now.
time
They're
they
in the
made it to
playoffs
the
right now.
playoffs? No, they're in the playoffs right now. It's week 10. We still have 7 weeks. Let's see. When was the last time the Steelers were in the playoffs? Which was probably the season they went 11-0 and got
Probably.
obliterated.
Probably.
You know? So let's see. Steelers in playoffs. I'm very curious about the stat that I don't have up in front of me. It was most recently in 2021. They won their final 2 games, right? Okay. 2016, they went 11-5 and lost in the first round.
Okay, so they made the playoffs 2021.
They made like the thing is though, like, is it just good enough sometimes being known for how
Okay,
great
but
you
you
are?
have to think 2021 they had good Big Ben, who was crippled basically. He couldn't do anything anymore. So now you have a young guy in there now, and you have that defense. Like, if you make, obviously they're gonna be a low seed. They're gonna have to play one of the top teams in the AFC. They're not winning it. But is that a win? Is that a win for them?
If you ever want to see another Pittsburgh Steelers Super Bowl again, I don't think that Kenny Pickett is the answer.
Sure.
I like Mike Tomlin. I think he is a Hall of Fame coach. I'm tired of seeing this team finish 9-7 and either lose in the first round or not even make the playoffs. So I'm not saying you ever get rid of Mike Tomlin. You let him retire and do his thing, but they seriously have to get a quarterback.
Okay, so who do you have winning?
I have the Green Bay Packers winning, and I have this one being quite a high score because it's just very undisciplined teams, 34-28, I'd say.
Yikes, that's high. I got Steelers winning 21-20.
I would say that I think that it's going to be a high-scoring game only because, like, it's such a sloppy game. I don't know how to describe it. It's like you have great receivers over in Pittsburgh that are just really talented. I think you just have Watson over in Green Bay.
No, I don't. The Steelers are averaging 16.6 points per game. They're not putting up 34.
I can see them putting up 34 on Green Bay.
Who's
and the
putting
reason
up 34? They're washed running back and Najee.
You think he's washed?
Oh, he's washed.
Really?
He's washed.
I feel like he's never even been. So, like, to call him washed is...
Start Jaylen Warren. Please put Najee out of his misery.
That's wow.
Start
so
Jaylen
he's
Warren.
played all of 3 or 4 seasons, and he's already washed.
He's washed. Start Jaylen Warren.
I don't see much going on.
I say this because I drafted Najee because I had high hopes for him. I drafted him in fantasy in the 3rd round. Boy, was that a mistake. I traded him for Terry McLaurin so quickly.
I don't see... I just see it being a high-scoring game because I don't have a lot of faith in the Green Bay Packers defense. I don't think they're bad. I don't know. It's like to random teams that you don't see them having trouble with, they have trouble with. So...
Well, let's see.
I went with a high number. It doesn't mean it's going to be that high, but I do see Pittsburgh being able to score.
Steelers are letting up 20 points a game. Packers are letting up 19.9.
So they're right around the same, literally the same ballpark.
Yep.
They seem to be equal on a lot of different playing fields.
I think this is a must-win for the Steelers. To make playoffs. It's a must-win.
Oh. That goes without saying. And again, they're probably not going to make the playoffs because of my rant before. I'm not going back into it.
They're 5-3.
I
think this is a must-win because coming up, they have Cleveland, Cincinnati, Arizona, and New England. So they should get those done. Indianapolis.
They're not getting Cincinnati.
At Indianapolis. Then you have Cincinnati again. Then you have at Seattle. Then you have at Baltimore.
Yeah, you're definitely not winning any of the Cincinnati games, and you're also not winning the Baltimore game at all.
Or the Seahawks, probably. Maybe.
The Seahawks just got absolutely destroyed.
But you're probably not winning the Cleveland game either. At Cleveland.
No, they have the #1 defense in the league, and the Niners felt it right away. So
Did you see Deshaun last week?
I didn't see him play, to be honest with you.
Oh my goodness. That man lit it. Well? That man lit it up. Okay. Yeah, he played really good.
If he starts playing well and he's worth the money that they completely guaranteed, sure. But for now, he's never. I don't think he'll ever be worth that.
He went 19 for 30, 219, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's really going off. What are you talking about?
He had 100 rushing. He almost had 100 rushing yards too.
Okay, so he had rushing yards that kept him afloat. He just like ever since he left the Texans and his whole
Dude,
thing that we won't
he's
get into happened. It's like he's just not the same guy. He's definitely not worth a guaranteed contract. Not even Mahomes has a guaranteed. You know what I'm saying? So
no, he didn't have as many rushing yards. He only had 22. 3 carries for 22.
okay, so he really didn't. You know, he had a better game than he's had. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, he's played well. Like, I'm looking at this here. Obviously, Colts game, he got injured. And then he was out for a week. But that Tennessee game, 27-33, 289 through the air, 2 touchdowns. Steelers game that they lost, 22 for 40, 235, a touchdown and a pick. I mean, his high running total is 45 yards against the Bengals. So, but we'll get into him more a little bit later. For this game, I have Steelers over Packers 21-20, and you took Packers over Steelers, right?
Packers over Steelers 34-28.
This gets into our little debate here. Kenny Pickett questions at QB. This season, he has thrown for 1,490 yards, 6 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He has a 37.4 QBR, which ranks 27th in the league. How does that make you feel?
Well, considering my Niners played him week 1 and we literally ate them for breakfast, I'm not sold on this guy. Like I said before to you, I think that the mascots, if they have a mascot over there, maybe a cheerleader or somebody, have them play quarterback over this goat. I'm not a fan of him.
He has the baby hands, remember?
Baby hands, exactly. I don't think Kenny Pickett's the guy. I think that their quarterback situation since Big Ben is just going to continuously be a problem. It's a lot of pressure playing in Pittsburgh because they are the most
do they
winningest
draft
team.
this year?
Absolutely,
Well,
absolutely.
Kenny Pickett's
really
still
no
on this
question.
rookie deal.
I don't. To me personally, I don't care what deal he's on. I think he needs to be on a deal out of there. I don't. I'm sorry.
I agree.
I'm not a Kenny Pickett guy. You know,
yeah.
I could be totally wrong. He starts playing really well. I'll shut my mouth. But what I'm seeing right now is not translating. They're 5-3 because of their coach.
I agree. All right. I fully agree with everything. I don't even have to say anything. Next game, Titans at Bucks.
That's a Titans game right there, baby. So I'll go first with that one. I take the Titans. Score, I'm not too sure yet. Let me just get into the Titans. The Titans now not having Tannehill as their quarterback, probably the best.
It's like a relief. Like,
It's
lift
a
it
relief.
off your shoulders.
It's like having a weighted blanket on and it like, bothering your shoulders. You just take it off. It's he is mediocre, right? Like I think if you want to look at average as a quarterback, you look at Ryan Tannehill, even with his stint with the Dolphins. The money that he made should have went to Derrick Henry. There's no questions. DeAndre Hopkins over there is not a bad move either. He's definitely playing pretty good. I think having what's his name, Mark Levy.
He's only playing good because of Will Levis.
Will Levis, that's his name. I almost said Mark. Yeah, Will Levis is the new guy in town, and I say you give him the rest of the season, maybe more to prove himself, right? Because I don't have a problem with it. They have King Henry, behind the back. Their defense is not that bad. Do I see them going far? Absolutely not. But I see them going far in this game, and I have them winning. I would probably say 21-14. I don't see it being very high, probably by a touchdown.
I agree. I have Titans winning 28-24.
Okay. Close, higher, but closer. Better.
Obviously, living in Kentucky, Will Levis lived, not that far from Lexington. He went to Kentucky. Yeah. I was a Will Levis fan, so it's nice to see him succeed. He was good, yeah.
Yeah.
He was pretty good. Obviously, he got drafted. He went second round. He went second round, but was projected first round. Right. Obviously, there's the meme of his girlfriend who looks so disappointed.
Oh yeah, okay. Now I know who we're talking about.
Yeah. But he's played really good. I'm excited for him. I'm excited that he's starting. Ryan Tannehill needs to go away. He needs to get out of there. Trade him, get something for him while he has some value.
I also like Vrabel, their
I like their coach.
He's a very good coach.
So, I have Titans winning 28-24. That both those offenses can put up some points. Both those defenses aren't the best at letting up points. I got 28-24. This
It'd be
takes us into so Will Levis, the future for Tennessee. Will Levis through 2 games, 500 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception, a 1-1 record.
I think it's too early to say. I don't know whether he is or not because people are ready to throw pitchforks at and spears at Brock Purdy. You know I'm going to bring him up, and he's proved himself in about 13 games.
Okay, but Will Levis has the arm Brock Purdy doesn't.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like he has a lot more talent than Brock Purdy. That's also why Brock Purdy was the last pick in the draft. Let's keep that in mind. People want to write this narrative about the poor guy, and yet there shouldn't be a bad narrative. Everybody should be rooting somebody on like that. Will Levis has the talent behind him. I don't see him not having an issue. He'll definitely have some issues along the way, right? Nothing's going to be perfect. I think it's too early to say he is going to be the future, but if he could have these last 7 games playing relatively well, then absolutely I could see him coming back. Definitely.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's too early as well, but I think he keeps at this pace. It's his job for years to come. Comparing him to like Brock Purdy, he has more talent. He has the talent. He has one of the strongest arm. He's one of the strongest arm throwers in the league already, being a rookie. And if you guys don't know that, go look it up. Like Will Levis has a cannon. I was lucky enough to watch this man throw live. It's insane. It is insane. He's a big dude. I don't know his exact metrics, but he is a big. I could pull him up. He's
probably
big
like
dude.
6'5". He
I
looks
think
like he
he's
has a solid frame.
6'3". Let's see. 6'4", 230. He's a big dude.
That's a big guy.
He's a big
yes.
dude. And he's fit. This man is ripped. He got clowned on in college. I remember I was watching a Kentucky game, and the casters were talking about how because Will Levis posted like all of his gym pictures on his Instagram story, and it was funny because they were clowning him. But he is a ripped dude. Like, I think if he keeps this up, he'll stay in the league for a long time.
Jim Bunny quarterback. I like it.
All right, going on to the next one. This is the one for you. 49ers at the Jaguars.
Well, I'm not going to be biased here, but I do
Yes,
think
you
the
are.
Niners will.
Don't lie.
No.
Do not lie.
Look, I'm being I am trying to keep no bias. I do see the Niners winning this game. They need to get back on track. They've dropped 3. Now, one game against the Browns could have obviously been won if our kicker had his right, the foot on the right side of his, leg, but completely whiffed on the kick.
Then he was kicking like he was kicking with his hands.
I might as well have. In Duval County, they're playing some good football, but the Niners, the Cowboys, are a real deal team when they are running on all cylinders. We have Chase Young, right, who's coming
Chase
in
Young now.
to complement, Nick Bosa, who needs to wake up.
What a pick!
But he needs to wake up, Nick Bosa, because you're coming off a Defensive Player of the Year. You're getting your 5-year deal that you've wanted the money for, and you have a total of 3 sacks on the season.
I think that is a sleeper of a pick. They gave up a 3rd-round pick for him, which I understand could be a future, Hall of Fame or whatever.
Could be.
But a 3rd-round pick for one of the most highest scouted defensive ends ever in Chase Young. Who was in a bad situation in Washington. Obviously, he's had some injuries, so he hasn't quite lived up to the hype, but well worth a 3rd rounder, I believe. And I think he's going to make an instant pickup or an instant impact this Sunday.
As long as Brock Purdy stops throwing to the opposing team's jersey, I have them.
Maybe he's colorblind.
Could be.
I mean,
it's looking that way.
This week. The Jaguar. I'm assuming the Jags are being white, so you never know. He might, but they have different colorways. It's not as similar as it is with the Browns.
I like Trevor Lawrence, but he's known for throwing a good amount of picks. That defense, the
can.
Niner defense, will not be as bad as it has been. They'll have Steve Wilkes on the sidelines now instead of looking up at the tippity top. It's time to have him down here watching the plays that he's making so that Shanahan can rip him a new one. I see you have an all-pro Fred Warner, probably the best middle linebacker in the
Oh,
entire
by
National
far.
Football
And
League.
then
I don't even think
debatably another top 5 linebacker. I forget his name.
Dre Greenlaw, he's
Yeah.
unbelievable as well. I mean,
Debatably a
these
top
guys
5.
right now, he's leading the team, Fred Warner, with 47 tackles. I mean, the guy is literally. There was a game that I think he had a pick, a sack, and like literally
It
a
was
tackle.
against, it was against the Cowboys.
Was it against the? Okay, so it was against the
He had
Cowboys,
a pick,
but that's
a
not
sack,
easy to
and a
do.
fumble. Yeah.
But that's not easy to do. The Cowboys are a tremendous team right now. They
Yeah.
really are, and to be able to do that, it just shows that's why they call him All Pro Fred. So
Yeah.
I see the Niners getting back on track with a final score of 31-17.
Okay. I have Niners winning as well, 34-17. I think they show that the Jags can bleed. I don't think the Jaguars have had the toughest schedule.
I agree.
Up to this point. So
Totally.
they will be at home. I could give them a little bit more, maybe 24, but I think it's going to be 34-17. I think the 49ers get back on track, get in there, get it done.
Me too.
That brings up our debate. Can the 49ers get back on track? They started 5-0, but have since, as you stated, gone 0-3 against some good teams, but teams they should have beat. So who they lost to the Vikings, they lost to the Browns, and they lost to who?
It was Vikings, Browns, and Bengals.
And Bengals, yes. Two tough opponents outside of the Vikings. Obviously, they still had Kirk Cousins at the point, but they didn't have Justin Jefferson. That defense should have locked them up.
Wiped it, and that's the problem. Tre'Davious Ward is trash. He's actually garbage. I would literally take him out with the sanitation on the side of the road tomorrow. I'm done. I'm done, guys. I am one of the biggest 49er fans you could ask Zion you will ever meet.
Oh,
I
God.
will ridicule my team probably harder than other people will. Their defense needs to wake up. The formation style is terrible. This conservative defense is horrible. I want you guys to understand something, that when the 49ers are trailing in the fourth quarter by 5 points or more, they do not win. They are 0-26 under Kyle Shanahan. That is not to blame the defensive coordinators that we've had, Robert Salah, D'Amico Ryan. Steve Wilkes right now, though, he's falling under the same trap with Shanahan. I think we need to get something going here. I want to see more from the defense. They have been unbelievable. Maybe a little bit of a revitalization after the bye week will do good, especially getting a top dog in the league. Again, I'm going to be the first person to ridicule Brock Purdy. I love Brock. I don't think he's anything incredible, but I think he fits this team perfectly. I don't need him to be a Hall of Famer, and I believe he knows that. He just needs to do his job if they want to win a Super Bowl.
Agreed.
I have no problem with him. He doesn't have the greatest arm. He doesn't have the greatest awareness. We get it all. We get all that. I think that being a last choice in a draft, he has shown us in the weeks that he's here that he deserves to be here. He deserves to at least, see where this season goes. I'm not going to crucify somebody just based off of 2 mediocre games, maybe 3, but that defense over in Cleveland is unbelievable. I'm just, to me, I see them getting back on track, and it's not just being a Niner fan. I've seen a lot of shitty seasons, but I've also seen a lot of great ones that have fallen just short. I see them getting back on track, and I see their defense starting to pick it up.
I agree. I agree. I think they get back on track. I think they win this game, which will be a very important game for them to win. They need it. If they lose this game, I think you could see it go downhill very quickly.
Absolutely. And if they lose it, it's on them.
They're gonna make the playoffs. There's no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, the NFC is terrible, so they would at least make some spot.
Yeah, they'll make some seed, but if they want to win the West, they've got to win this game.
I think that they'll win the West, and the reason I think they'll win the West is because I think that they could beat the Seahawks. I have absolutely no doubt that they can't beat the Seahawks. Z. I think even you could say that.
Yeah, I agree. But even if they beat the Seahawks and the Seahawks have a better record, it don't matter.
No, I agree. Well, no. If they beat them twice, I think it would matter.
I don't think it does.
Well, if they have a better record, absolutely. But if it's like they both have the same record, they
Yeah,
beat the Niners beat them twice,
and
let's say,
I
it
could
would be going to
see
the Niners.
I could see the Seahawks. I mean, they're fine. They're fine. They have the same record right now,
They
and
have the same
their
record.
schedule's a little
We haven't
weaker, I
played them
think.
yet though this season though too.
Sure.
We have to play them twice.
Like they play Washington, then they play the Rams, which
Yeah, but those are two dog water
So,
teams.
so you got to think they're going to be 7-3. So if you guys drop this game this week, they have the West, and then
right.
then they face the 49ers, then they play at Dallas, then at 49ers. And
Yeah, so they
then
don't have now that 3-game stretch is absolutely
that 3-game
brutal.
stretch is going to be brutal. No, 4-game, because then they play Philly.
Yeah, I mean that's where it starts to
But-
go downhill for,
but
for
to end,
Seattle.
but to end the season, Titans, Steelers, and Cardinals.
Titans definitely could give them a run for their money. We watched, we've seen Seattle struggle at times, but they
yeah.
also play very well. I could see Tennessee giving them a run for their money. I still see Seattle winning that game, but it's up in the air for me with Tennessee.
So
I think they got 5 games straight.
So you have 5 very winnable games, which puts them at 10-7. Hopefully the 49ers finish better than that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think they
But
will. But
if you guys drop one game to the Seahawks, I think they take the West.
it's understandable. And you know what? The Niners would have nobody to blame but themselves.
Yep.
So I can't sit here angry, right? I'm a diehard fan, but I can't play for them. They need to wake up. So,
I agree. I agree. I do think they wake up this week, but I think it is a must-win for your playoff seeding. I think it is.
do too. I do too. If we want to get second seeding, at least
Mhm.
you can't. We're not going to get any higher because of how the Eagles are playing.
Yeah,
Although I'm not sold.
I'm
still not sold on the Eagles, but
I'm sold on how good they can be.
yeah, absolutely.
I'm
But
not
they're-
sold on how good they are right now.
I could agree. They're definitely not 8-1 caliber, but they have the record and they're winning games.
They
They're
are
pulling
winning
them
games, but Jalen Hurts, he's a hit away. He's a hit away from being out.
out. He is. No, he is. He's one tap. So,
Yep.
I agree with that. I agree. If we want to lock up the second or third, we got to start winning.
All right, we'll move on to the next game. Another good matchup. This is over in the AFC North. Browns at Ravens. You have top 3 defenses in the league going at it.
I'm gonna go with the Ravens. They have the best defense probably right now in the last few games. Although
They're letting
Cleveland
out
is
13.8 points per game. That is impressive.
exactly so. Like if Cleveland is a unbelievable number 1 defense, and now the Ravens are starting to move up the ranks,
And they
the
are heating up. They're coming off of
Absolutely.
a demolish of Seattle.
Seattle now
They
the
have
caliber
some confidence.
the caliber that I see with Lamar is how quick and fast he can run, right? So even if that offensive line is closing in, he's moving.
Yeah.
Like it's different from when Brock was getting
And
destroyed.
since he's been in the league, he's become a lot better passer.
And also he's connecting with his receivers now, Mark Andrews as well.
Zay Flowers, the rookie.
Zay Flowers,
Ooh,
right? Like,
Odell.
even Odell got a touchdown pass.
It was not from Lamar though. It was from Tyler
No,
Huntley.
it was from
Huntley,
that's
their
true.
backup.
But he is getting involved.
Yeah.
So, I see absolutely the Ravens winning this game, and I don't even think that it'll be very close. I don't. I will probably say by 14, 24-10.
24-10. All right, I have the Ravens winning as well. I have a 20-13. I think it's gonna be a lower scoring game than what you have it a little bit. Because that Browns defense is real.
They are.
They are real. I think they will be able to contain Lamar a little bit better.
Right.
And he's gonna have to make some throws to win this game, definitely. But I do have him pulling it out 20-13. Our topic is going to be: are the Ravens now the AFC or the Super Bowl favorites?
They're neither, to be honest with you.
Neither.
I don't, and
Oh.
I know you're gonna sit there and disagree with me.
Oh.
I know you're gonna sit there and disagree with me, but it's like it's almost as if like you got hit in the head and you forgot that there is Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes in the league.
I didn't
We
forget.
cannot, we cannot, not just you, and I shouldn't just attack you, but there is so much recency bias because they're playing well right now. We
Okay,
still have seven
that's not what
games
I
left.
asked. No, that's not what I asked. Are they the
What did you
favorites
ask?
right now?
No, they're not.
No, who
right?
is? Who
Okay,
is?
all right, fine. If you're talking about right at this very
Right
moment,
at this
sure.
very moment.
What is that going to do for like what is that doing for me? That's a stat that's me, right? Like are they the best right now? You sure they are.
They
but
are
when it comes
first in defensive points per game. First, they're letting up 13.8, and they're sixth in offensive points per game. Now,
I know.
the Chiefs, obviously, they're number 2. But, you know, you go over to their offensive side of the ball, well, they dropped down to 8th.
they did. It's also the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, and I will bet my house on Patrick Mahomes over Lamar. And I love Lamar. Lamar is my dude.
And then, you know, you have the Bengals, who are...
I'll never count out Joe Burrow, but their
I'm
defense
not
is
going
weak,
to
so
count
I will
out
give
Joe
you that.
Burrow, but what are they?
The Bengals defense is very weak, so I do think that the Ravens can
They're
beat obviously
12th
the
in
Bengals.
defensive points per game. They can't contain him. But you know,
it's true.
you go to their offense and they are. Oh, they are.
Got to be low.
Oh my God.
They're definitely like in the 20s. There's no way
Oh,
because they
they're-
haven't been doing
They're
shit.
putting up 19.4 points a game.
What are they ranked overall? Their offense right now?
Right around 23, I think.
My point. They could be dropping 19 points, but I'm telling you, Lamar isn't scoring really any of them. You got to like look at, and it sounds crazy. I'm not saying he's not, but in that game, this most recent week, he had like 9 fantasy points.
He had
It was
11.
the defense
He had
that was
11.
crushing. My
I
bad.
have him as my starting QB. Come on now.
I mean,
Give him his
he definitely
props.
didn't help you win. I could tell you that.
Oh no, I lost, but
Yeah. So
but he didn't have to
I-
do anything.
to answer your question, Zion, they are the best team in the AFC right now. They will have to overclimb one hell of a hill in Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow. So
I agree.
I don't
I
believe
agree.
anything till I see it. So
I have them as favorite right now. I want to take a look at this Ravens schedule. Let's see what we got here.
I have them as the third best Well, right now I have them as probably the first team in the AFC. But when it comes down to playoffs, they're the third best.
They already beat the Bengals this season.
They did, but they were also hurt.
Mm.
Joe Burrow was injured, and now that Joe Burrow is not injured, we're seeing him beat the 49ers
They play the
and other
Bengals in
teams.
2 weeks.
They also beat the Bills. Which I know we're saying that the Bills are pretty much done for right now. They also have Josh
not,
Allen. And
They have not played the Bills. The Ravens have not.
No, I'm talking about the Bengals.
Bengals,
Just
yes,
one.
they beat the Bills. But obviously the Ravens and the Bengals are in the same conference. So that conference is insane right now. All 4 teams are in the playoffs as of right now. But you have the Ravens versus Cleveland this week, and then you have Ravens versus Cincinnati next week.
I mean, that's gonna be
okay. The Ravens have a tough stretch. It's Cleveland,
but this
Cincinnati,
is gonna show you you're in.
Chargers, Rams, Jaguars, 49ers, Miami, and Pittsburgh. Oh my God.
It's a gauntlet is what they call it, and honestly, this is going to prove what you're saying. You know about are they the best team in the AFC now? Sure, but when that happens and the gauntlet starts, are they going to be the best team in the AFC? I don't know. I don't have an answer for you.
Are they,
I still see.
So are they the Super Bowl favorites right now?
No, God,
No.
no,
Who is?
absolutely not.
Who is?
I still have Mahomes and the Chiefs. I know you're probably sitting there thinking like they have not shown you anything. I have seen Mahomes have seasons like this before, but when it comes playoff
He's never
time,
had a season like this.
he's had some pretty bad starts before. He's been
He's
3
had,
and 4
he's
before,
had some
if I
bad
remember
starts,
correctly.
but he's never at. This is the fewest points per game he's averaged since his rookie year.
Look, all I'm saying is the guy beat a well-oiled Eagle
doesn't.
machine
He
last
does
year.
not have a receiver.
I mean, I wouldn't say that. What's his name? Isaiah Pacheco is that bad. They also
He's
got
a
that.
running back.
They also got. No, I know that he
Rasheed
dishes
Rice.
it off. Rasheed Rice is where I was going.
But he's a rookie. Is he going to show up in the Super Bowl?
I would hope so. I think so. I mean, they didn't really have anybody that much different than they do right now when they beat the Eagles. Well, who they have? McCole Hardman. He's back. Like they didn't have anybody.
But
They had
Travis
Travis Kelce.
Kelce has not played good this year.
He hasn't played great,
unless
but
Taylor
you
Swift
know
is
what?
there.
You need to have Taylor Swift at every game
Yeah,
in the
you do.
playoffs, and they will win.
They
But
will. They will. They will.
all jokes aside, Zion, I can't pick against the Chiefs because they have proved me wrong time and time again. They may be having a really bad opening half of the season. I don't see them closing out the season bad. I still see the Chiefs as the number one.
Okay, so you have the Ravens as the AFC favorite right now, but not Super Bowl favorite.
No, I still see Kansas City or the Cincinnati making it.
Okay, so you don't have them as the favorite for either as of right now.
I don't.
I have them as the favorite for both as of this week. I think they can win the AFC. I think if they can end up taking the number 1 seed from Mahomes, that's gonna make all the difference. I think it will. Because if you have to go into Baltimore to, like, if the Bengals and the Chiefs have to go into Baltimore to play, I don't think they get it done. And as of right now, they have it. They're 7-2. I think they have it.
I don't know. I'm not sold on it. Defensively, sure.
I'll say their history has definitely led me to believe that they don't. But I think you're seeing Lamar be healthy. His coach is resting him when he needs to. He's not keeping him out there anymore at the end of the fourth quarter when they're up big. He's not doing it. He knows he needs Lamar to win. He's not putting Lamar in these situations where he's gonna get hurt. I think Harbaugh has coached this team well this year. I definitely think they make the AFC Championship. Whether they have to beat the Bills or the Chiefs to get there, I don't know. Or the Bengals or the Chiefs to get there. Bills, Bengals, Chiefs, whoever they need to beat. I think they make it. I think there's a very realistic possibility that they win. I think whoever has home field advantage that game will take it though. So I have them as the AFC and the Super Bowl favorites as of this week. Obviously, if they drop this game to Cleveland, it'll probably change it a little bit.
I don't think they'll drop it to Cleveland, but we'll see.
We will see. Our next game, we're getting to the full 4 o'clock games. We have Falcons at Cardinals.
I don't even care.
I don't either.
Honestly. I see the Falcons winning that game because the Cardinals are just like a high school football team.
Yeah, basically.
I don't really have
stats. You
could
could go out there and
I don't, Desmond Ritter.
Kyler Murray,
he's not even playing.
No, it's Taylor Heineke. I think that was a good move. I think that was a good move.
What happened? I thought they were bragging on Desmond Ritter's name. All of a sudden, he's garbage.
They benched him. Yeah, he's garbage. What do you mean?
I honestly, like I said, I don't pay attention. I got to pay attention to football, but I don't pay attention.
The only problem I have with the Falcons is the coach. Arthur Smith does not use Bijan or Kyle Pitts like he should. He's putting their Tavon Algier, however you say his name, he's getting more rushing attempts a game than Bijan these past 2 games.
I saw.
Why?
That I did see.
Why? Why? And Jonnu Smith over Kyle Pitts?
Oh, Jonnu Smith, I know.
Are you kidding? You're going to throw the ball to Jonnu Smith, but never throw the ball to Kyle Pitts. When he was the best tight end prospect to ever come out of college?
Yeah, we haven't seen much productivity because
I want Kyle Pitts in Dallas. Bring him to Dallas. I've been saying this for 2 years.
You guys are crying because you missed Dalton
to
Schultz.
Dallas. Oh yeah.
He's in Texas right now, playing pretty well.
So Jake Ferguson's playing great in Dallas. But no, I want Kyle Pitts in Dallas. Bring him to Dallas, please, Jerry. If you
guys
see this
got
video,
Martavius Bryant out of nowhere from the Vipers, so you guys are fine.
Yeah, I saw that. Man hasn't played in the NFL since 2016? 2018. With the Raiders? Oh boy. I'm so excited. He's a big body. He's a big body, I guess.
Well,
throw him in the end zone.
This team,
I mean, Dak can't hit Brandon Cooks wide open over the middle, so I don't know what Martavius Bryant's gonna do. Go stand in the corner, I guess.
Might as well. Maybe it'll pull a distraction. My final for this score for this game is honestly probably something low like 17-7. I'm going to go with Atlanta just because I like Taylor Heineke. I don't see anything behind Arizona. They are horrible. And I don't think that the Falcons are coached well either, but I do see them having weapons to win a game. 17-7.
I have Falcons 28-24. I think it'll be a little bit higher. I think the defenses are bad. The Falcons have been putting up points. Arizona, you have Kyler Murray back. I think he'll come in. He'll put up some points. And then our topic is, what does that Kyler Murray return mean for Arizona? Last time he was healthy, his 2022 stats, I know he got injured that year, but when he played, 2,300 yards, 14 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. I did not get his rushing yards in there, but I'm sure he had some.
All right, let me break it down for you real fast. Is Modern Warfare 3 out yet? I don't see this guy paying attention. I know that it's in his new clause. He's more of a video gamer than he takes his professional sports career seriously. I had a lot of respect for him until he was starting to mouth off to his coaches and stuff and acting like he was the top dog around there.
And he's not.
Modern Warfare 3 is coming out in a couple weeks. Now I see him slacking off again. I don't see them doing much. I don't have much faith in Kyler Murray. I think he needs a coach, like you said, like Bill Belichick, to whip him into shape.
So, obviously, you're not a big believer in the Kyler Murray area in Arizona. Where do you think he goes? I think he does get traded after the season. I think so do you. So where do you think he goes? I think Patriots could be a good fit.
I do too. It would either be Justin Fields going to the Patriots, but once you mentioned Kyler Murray, because I forgot that he was back, I would say Kyler Murray over in New England. You want a disciplined coach that'll whip him into shape and somebody with incredible talent that's just missing the mark because he's too busy doing everything else but playing the game of football. New England.
I think a sleeper could honestly be the Rams.
Well, it depends what's going on with Stafford. I mean, he's been out forever with his thumb, but if he continues to play or not.
Yeah, I definitely don't know what his status is, but I mean, he has a ring now. He's getting older. He's getting more injuries again. He could there's definitely a possibility he out of the nowhere he calls it quits after this year.
They do have Carson Wentz. If Carson Wentz
they signed him for the rest of the year. They didn't sign him to an extension.
No, I know. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of what other teams. I mean, I don't see him going to the Raiders.
What are you seeing? Maybe Washington? Is Sam Howell doing good over there?
He's top 5 in passing yards right now.
Okay, so then maybe that's
he's
fine.
doing good, but he's not winning games. But
well, the Giants
I don't think that's on him.
The Giants obviously need a quarterback. Let's be realistic here. We know that Daniel Jones is not the answer over there. Plus, he's out with an ACL tear.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later. I don't see him going to the Giants though. I think the Vikings. Maybe. I think you could deal Kirk.
Depends on what you do with Kirk O'Chains.
I don't think Kirk's the answer for Minnesota. I think he's always been a good regular season quarterback. And that's all.
I probably would agree with you, but honestly, my sights are set on one place, and I think New England would be perfect for him.
I think so. I definitely think so. So, I think we both agree on New England as the number one. There could be a few options, but it's limited for him. There's a lot of good quarterbacks now.
There's a lot of good quarterbacks, and he's wasting everybody's time.
Yeah.
I don't like how he's been doing it.
I think if Bill takes a reach on him, I think he could get to him, and he could take Patriots back to playoffs. But
I think he could to the promised land, but we got to see what happens. I do hope though that Bill wisens up, lets Mac Jones flourish somewhere else because I do think he could win somewhere. I do think he could win games somewhere else. I think the dynamic between them
he'll be a backup. I don't think he's a starter anymore. There's too many good quarterbacks in the league.
You might be right. I can't argue you on something that we don't know, but you know what? The stats prove it. So, yeah.
Yeah. We'll move on to the next game. We have... This would be a good matchup, honestly. Lions at Chargers.
Oh, Lions all day. The Chargers are on a high right now because they just beat up the good Jet defense, but I'm sorry. Like, I think that Justin Herbert is a fantastic quarterback, but out of all of like this big craze elite quarterback, young quarterback drama stuff, he's definitely on the lower tier end of it. Um,
Uh,
Lamar's better than him. Um, Mahomes is 1,000% better
Josh
than him.
Allen's better than him.
Josh Allen's better than him. Joe Burrow's better than him. Right? Like, I, I I don't see Justin Herbert and the Chargers doing anything this game. Um,
I mean,
I
Detroit is letting up 21 points per game, 20.6.
And that's true, but I also love Detroit. I love what they're doing. I love how Jared
I do too.
Goff is playing. I see that being a high scoring game. It's probably
So do
going
I.
to be 20. I'd say probably 31 to 24,
21,
and I'm
24.
going with 31-24 Detroit Lions.
Yep, I'm right there with you. I have the Lions winning 31-28. I think both the defenses have been, well, Chargers defense has not been good. Lions defense is currently ranked 5th in points per game at 20.6.
All right.
Oh wait. No, hold on. They are ranked. No, it's a lot lower than that. That's about 12, 13th, 14th at 20.6. But then you have the Chargers who are about 18th at 21.8. 18, 19.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a high scoring game. Both of them have good offenses. I have the Lions pulling it out 31-28. Not so good defenses.
Yeah, their defenses still have much to prove.
Aiden Hutchinson, he's been a beast this year, though.
He's great. He's great ever since getting him from Minnesota. It's just been right, Minnesota.
No,
Yeah.
they drafted him.
They drafted Aiden Hutchinson. Really?
Yeah.
I thought they got him from Minnesota.
No, he's like number 2 or 3 overall pick.
You're 100% sure he was not on the Vikings?
Yes. I can almost guarantee that. Hold on. Let's see. We'll pause.
Oh, I'm thinking of Hawkinson. Sorry.
Yeah, not Hawk.
I'm thinking of Hawkinson.
Hawkinson, yes. He came from
yes,
Minnesota.
he did play for the Vikings. Okay, yeah. Okay,
No.
wrong name.
Aiden Hutchinson, they drafted him. Top
Yes,
5.
they absolutely did.
Topic for this matchup is, are the Lions real Super Bowl contenders? Or are they a year away? They are 9th in offensive points per game and 14th in defensive points per game.
They're about a year or two away, I would say. I don't think that they're Super Bowl contenders. They
agree.
can make it. They'll definitely make the playoffs, but they're going to get eliminated.
I think they can make some noise with the right matchups.
Yeah.
Obviously,
The NFC is weak. I think they may actually get a playoff win.
if they get the 2nd seed, they could definitely make some noise, because they would play the 6th seed, no 7th seed. They would play 7th seed first
Probably
round.
play the Vikings.
Yeah,
Because the Vikings, I think, are at 7 right now. That's just how bad the NFC is.
yeah, and
So,
then I bet the next game they would get 49ers. So that would be fun.
it's gonna be interesting, but I don't see them doing anything.
Yeah, with the right matchups, they have to have the perfect matchups to make it to the NFC Championship. I think.
100%.
I don't think this is their year. Next year, maybe.
I can see that. Next year or the year after, definitely under Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
He's a great coach.
Yeah, I think they need another corner. They have one stud corner right now. I can't remember his name, but they need a second one. Their other 2 corners aren't very good. They have C.J. Gardner-Johnson back in the safeties. He's played good, but he's injured right now. They needed a linebacker too. I think the defense needs some improvements before they are Super Bowl contenders. I think one of the sleepers on their team is Jameson Williams, wide receiver.
Very good receiver.
You remember him back at Alabama?
Yes, I do actually.
Yeah, he's a very good receiver. I saw an interview. Somebody said they need to get the ball in his hands and let him try and create like he did at Alabama. He's a tremendous receiver. I think going into next season, he'll be the number 2 wide receiver alongside Amon-Ra.
I believe so. I was going to say Amon-Ra St. Brown is always going to be the number 1 for now. He's incredible, dynamic, fast, right? Can catch the ball. You can rely on him. Sturdy. He reminds me a lot of Debo, but a lot faster. and also taller. But I do agree with you. I think Williams will be the number 2 going into next year. Absolutely.
Definitely, I think they're a year or two away.
Yeah, definitely, probably 2. They have a couple of missing links that I don't think they could address just in this draft. So
Nope. Um, On to the next matchup. This is a good one. The blowout of the week, as some would say. We have Giants at Cowboys. Giants are coming on down to Dallas.
okay, I'm gonna say this in the nicest way. Giants, don't show up. Fans, sell your tickets. It's not worth it. Okay? You guys already got blown out of the water 40-0 when you thought you were going to do something this season. It didn't happen. So all of a sudden, every Giant fan in America started blaming the offensive line. Their offensive line is terrible for the last 11 years. Okay? There's got to be something wrong with the scouting, and there's also got to be something wrong with the coaching and the management. Something is going on over there that they can't seem to find an offensive line that sticks. It's like literally taking like scotch tape and taping it around like a shelf and hoping that it stays on the wall. It's not sticking. Nothing is happening. Okay, it's terrible. Their offensive line is horrible. Daniel Jones got a deal that he definitely did not deserve. Brian Dable does not deserve the hate. He just won Coach of the Year. I think you give him a couple more seasons, really, because it's not fair to him. I think he's tried his best with a team that's just always hurt, especially getting Darren Waller. I wasn't even convinced on because that dude lives in the ER. I really, honestly,
Saquon, he lives on the IR.
Saquon is the dude from SpongeBob, seriously. The
My
whole my bones.
leg.
My leg. It's literally that. That team had so much talent going into this season that everybody thought that this game against the Cowboys would be a battle. It was 40-0. I'm saying it's going to be 38-0. Cowboys.
You think so? Well, surprisingly
I told you that
enough,
yesterday in our
surprisingly
prep talk.
enough, I have the Cowboys winning.
Wow, that's definitely surprising.
40-9. I'll give them 9. I probably more like 6. I think
Yeah,
just
Graham
because.
Gano has missed some kicks.
No, I'm gonna say 6 just because the quarterback they have, there's no film on him. There's a part of the game from last week. I'll give them 6. I think they can get in field goal range once, maybe twice at the end of the game when we have all of our third stringers in.
Yeah, I mean, if Micah Parsons is on the field, he's not doing much. So.
Yeah, it'll be a blowout. I picked 49, probably more like 46.
38-0 right here. Dallas all the way.
Now the question is, what are the Giants' draft intentions after their rough start?
Everything.
They have a 2-7 record right now. So as of right now, they don't have the number 1.
I think they need a quarterback. I think that they should look into the Washington Penix Jr. I do, if he goes. I don't think.
Do they?
I don't think they'll get Caleb. I don't think it's going to be possible.
Do they lose every game from here on out and get Caleb?
I mean, they're definitely not going to win many more, so it's possible. But they need a quarterback. It is obvious that Daniel Jones has been failed by the New York Giants.
I think it's very realistic because I believe the Panthers and the Giants play this year. Let me double check that. But I believe they play, and I think if you're the Giants, you throw that game to, not make it look like you didn't. But
No, you can't literally throw a game.
But
I
do
agree.
they?
I think that they need to get a quarterback and this freaking offensive line garbage that they keep talking about.
They do not play the Panthers, so I was wrong. So they need the Panthers to win another game or two so Chicago doesn't get that number 1.
I actually have more faith in the Panthers winning another game because they probably have an easier schedule than what the NFC East offers for the Giants. The Giants have to play the Eagles again. They have to play the Cowboys, obviously, this week. And even the Commanders, they won a game against. I don't think they'll win again.
Panthers might win this week against the Bears.
I do. I think so. I mean, I think that the Bears will win, but you never know. Again, that was an up for grabs decision.
Yeah. They played Tennessee, Tampa Bay, New Orleans, obviously all in their division. I think they can squeak one of those out.
I think you trade Saquon, you get a quarterback, and you start fixing this offensive line. I mean, it is a bad offensive line, but it's been bad for years.
I think they try and get the number 1. I think you have to really hope the Panthers win a few more, and you have to lose every game this season. Just lose it, get Caleb in there. What do you do with Daniel Jones? I don't care.
I don't either.
Let,
I don't like him.
get him out.
I don't think he's a bad guy. I just never thought that he was worth what he was worth,
Oh,
and I didn't
no.
think that he was that good. He played from, he
The
came out of
fact-
Duke.
I was surprised that they even signed him to that.
I know.
He was holding out because they
Imagine
wouldn't sign
holding
him.
out when
Yeah.
you're that bad.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't. That's like me trying to go to an NFL team and say,
I
I'm gonna
know.
hold out unless you sign me.
Unless you sign me.
it's not
And they
gonna
didn't even
happen.
give Saquon the money. I would have gave them. I know running backs right now. There's a whole thing with them with getting contracts like that big. But I would have paid Saquon over. I'm saying not like because
Yeah.
Saquon's always hurt. But I would have rather paid Saquon than Daniel Jones.
I think you trade Saquon. I think you try and get the first and draft Caleb. I think Caleb is your hope right here.
I
Bring him
think
to
that
the Big
you need
Apple.
to you need to find yourself a Luke Skywalker and get some hope because right now you are in the Empire territory. You are getting bullied by Dallas and pretty much most of the NFL. I have a lot of Giant fan friends. This is no shade. This is the same thing they will tell you. Get this offensive line addressed. Get a good quarterback in there. Trade this running back out of there to get some picks and let's get the ball moving. They need to be back in the limelight.
They do. The bright spot they've had is Jalen Hyatt, their rookie wide receiver from Tennessee that they drafted. He's looked good in games that they've been throwing it to him. When they can throw it.
Right.
So
I'm right here. My
you're good.
Yeah, I'm here. My camera, hold on, disconnected, but I'm here.
Okay.
I got it. There we go. I'm good.
All right.
Back.
Moving
Hey,
on. Moving
Yeah.
on. We have a
Definitely
good.
here.
We have a. Not really a good game. Commanders at Seahawks.
I'm gonna go with the Seahawks. The Commanders are another team that, even though they have a quarterback that has one of the highest top 5 passing yards in the game, I'm still not sold on him. They literally just got rid of Montez Sweat as well as Chase Young. Their defense is now a bit anemic. They still are playing pretty decent. They do have a good coach in Ron Rivera, although I do think his days are numbered.
Yeah.
Eric Bieniemy is probably going to be leaving to get a head coaching job as well soon. I got to go with the Seahawks. I trust Pete Carroll and his system, even though they got bodied by Baltimore. Baltimore is probably one of the best teams. Right, it is the best team right now. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Seahawks, and I'm gonna go with a pretty high differential. I'm gonna go with the Seahawks, probably 30-10.
Alrighty. I picked Seahawks as well. 28-17. I just don't think
Not
they're.
too. We were a touchdown
Yeah.
off, really.
I don't think they're. Obviously, the Commanders brought a close game to the Eagles both times. That's a division game, though. They're going to be
And
close.
you're always going to play harder against a division
Yeah.
opponent. Yeah.
I don't think there's a world that they win this game unless Sam Howell just goes Mahomes mode.
I agree with that. That's the only way.
Yep. I have Seahawks winning 28-17.
30-10 over here.
Yep. I don't have any questions for that game. I think we kind of both know where both those teams are at.
Again, like that's something me and you will not debate on because we know it. We talk
Yeah.
about this off screen, folks, a lot. Me and Zion are really, really close, and we love talking football. So a lot of our opinions are different, but stuff like this, it's going to be hard to debate because like.
Yeah. We know
They don't
where both
offer
those
us
teams are
much.
back,
Yeah, like the Commanders are not offering me much here to really talk, big on. So yeah,
we will go into one of the more juicier ones. We have Jets at Raiders.
yeah, I'm gonna go with the Raiders, and the reason I'm gonna go with the Raiders are on fire right now. I think Antonio Pierce has a good fit, right? The first, and as a funny stat,
Yeah.
the first team that he beats is the Giants since his last game that he
Yeah.
played. The team is rallying around him. Devontae Adams has his approval. He has these guys playing how they should. Josh McDaniels, honestly, he doesn't even deserve a job as a water boy in the league anymore. It's over. It's done.
Go to
okay?
college. Go to college.
Go back. Do something else. Become a tour guide. I don't care. No shots at tour guides, but it's time to do something that's going to be successful,
Dude,
right?
Work at a
Then-
7-Eleven. Please.
It's over with. It's done.
Maybe you'll learn how to throw to Devontae if you work at a 7-Eleven.
You could go have a football catch in your backyard with Jimmy G. Take him with you because it's over. The Jimmy G experiment on every team is done. Um, I think that the Raiders will start heating up now. The quarterback that they have, and I don't know him by name, but he is not playing bad at all.
We can definitely
They
find out.
Yeah, they have a really good, their defense isn't bad. They got Max Crosby. He is an absolute monster with 3 sacks he's coming off of last game. The problem with the Jets are they're so hit or miss. It all depends on how Zach Wilson looks. This defense is incredible, but when you have Zach Wilson on your team, you're not incredible. So again, they would be a star-studded team across the board if A-Rod stayed healthy.
Looks like
I'm going to go with the
is
Raiders.
Aiden O'Connell playing.
I'm going with the Raiders here. And the reason I'm going with the Raiders by a high score is because I watched what the Chargers could do to them. I'm probably going to go with probably 27-10 Raiders. I just think that they have a better wide receiver. I think that this new kid, he's not bad. A lot of people are a fan of him. And the Jets defense could only hold on for so long. And I don't think Zach Wilson will get it done with Max Crosby right on him.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I have the Raiders winning 17-10. I think it'll be a little bit closer. Just because that Jets defense has brought a lot of those games really close.
That's fair.
And to be fair, yes, you cannot count on Zach Wilson, but he has some studs on offense. Obviously, if Breece Hall can get the running game going, then they could win. And if Zach Wilson plays like he did against the Chiefs and he gets the ball to Garrett Wilson, I think they'll be okay. But for this week, I have the Raiders winning 17-10.
I agree. Garrett Wilson's only going to be as great as his quarterback for right now, and his quarterback is not great.
Oh, well, so he couldn't. Zach Wilson couldn't make any wide receiver great.
That's what I mean. So, like, Garrett Wilson is a dog. He's going to be one of the number 1 receivers
he could
in
have
the league.
Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and CeeDee Lamb, and none of them would have 1,000-yard seasons.
He'd still find the stands over those wide receivers. So, that's my take. 27-10.
I got 17-10. This brings up the question about Zach Wilson. Well, not exactly about Zach Wilson, but can Rodgers return and take the Jets to the playoffs or to the promised land?
No, he's a diva. Okay, we're going back to this again, making comments over to Derwin James saying, oh, give me a few weeks. No, you just want people to circulate your name. You love the attention. You are a great quarterback. You will be a Hall of Famer. You also you should have became an actor in your spare time while you were hurt because you just love making stuff up. You are not coming back this season. You tore your Achilles at 38 to almost 39 years old, bro. Let's get realistic.
That man is magic, I swear.
If he does come back, right, and hear me out, it would have to be that they made it to the NFC Championship at least. I
don't agree.
Because you think that he could come back prior to that? You're out of your mind.
I think he could. Yeah.
What do you think this guy's made out of? Huh?
Have you
think
seen
he's made out of
man?
clay?
Have you seen this man? He's doing drop backs already.
Good for him. That's totally fine. He's not playing against professional players.
No quarterback ever has done dropbacks this early from their Achilles injury.
Does he have a great offensive line? No. That's what caused him to tear his Achilles. I wouldn't trust that right now while I'm still healing.
I'm not saying he's going to.
But if my team is...
Can he?
If my team is in a position to win, then yes, I would get back on the field. If they are playing like shit that they have been playing as of recency, then no, I wouldn't waste my time rushing back. Because you saw his statement on the Pat McAfee show. No, actually, it's going to be, a little bit more than I actually said. I just wanted the attention,
I saw it. I think I have a little bit different take on that. I don't fully agree with what you said, but it's along the lines. I think if it comes down, like let's say they play the last game of week 17, that game decides if they make the playoffs or not, he plays.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not saying he's not a team player that won't do that. I don't think it's a good idea, and I don't see on a health basis clearing a guy who tore an Achilles within the same season, even if it was week 1. I just don't. I don't care if it's Tom Brady or God himself.
The question is, can he?
I guess it depends on how his body heals. I don't think that by week 17 he'll be healed. I said probably the NFC Championship or the Super Bowl. NFC Championship is a little bit more realistic. I'm just being realistic to what Achilles injuries have been in the past, Zion. I'm not saying that it can't happen. I just don't think that this guy is, I mean, he's all about the herbal ways of healing and shit. So maybe, but
I mean, he went to as soon as his Achilles injury happened, he went to the same doctor who repaired Kobe's Achilles.
again,
Kobe was back on the court.
he was back on the court. So it's a possibility. It's a possibility. Right now, if they make it to the second round of the playoffs or NFC Championship, he will be back. Other than that, not in the regular season.
I think it's possible. Alrighty. But, Aaron Rodgers' stats, if he does come back, his 2022 stats, obviously his 2023
Four
stats.
snaps.
His 2023 stats, what, straight zeros across the board? Or did he have 2 yards maybe? Something like that.
No, I don't even think I don't even know if he did.
I thought he had
Possibly.
maybe 2 yards.
Maybe he did. We're really debating 2 yards. What does it matter?
But 2022 stats, last season he played about 3,700 yards, 26 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. If he comes back, he can take that team. He can take that team to.
It's also a clean slate for him. I think he'll be in a better mindset too, not playing for Green Bay again. I don't think he's ever thrown that many interceptions in his life, let alone in a season.
I think there was one season he threw 12.
That might be
outside of last season.
Because there was like literally a stint where he didn't throw like more than 4 picks in a season. For years.
It was.
So.
It was wild. I think he could. Not saying he will. I think it all becomes very situational based, how he feels along those lines. It's definitely hard to tell if he could. But I do think he could in the right situation.
And that's something that we'll agree to disagree.
Only
I do think he could come back,
if he knows he's gonna win.
You're putting your body on the line here, bro, and it's not like you're
You're putting your
40.
retirement on the line. Yes, if you get injured again, you're done.
It's over.
Yep.
So, what do you want to be remembered going out there for? So let's see.
Yeah.
That's it.
Alrighty. On to the next game. I believe this is the Monday night game. Let me double check. Yep, this will be the Monday night game. Broncos at Bills. It's our last game.
I'm gonna go with the Bills. I think that they're starting to turn themselves around a little bit, the Broncos, but I really only see Russell Wilson playing average. I think he's playing better than last year by a landslide, but he's just not using his legs enough. I think he's being smarter, and they finally are coming off a win to Kansas City, so they're going to come off on a high. But I don't see the Bills losing back-to-back games, especially having Stephon Diggs and his temper tantrums. I see the Bills bouncing back with this one. I see them winning this game 34-10. I don't see it being close. Defense is not impressive.
I have the Bills winning 24-10.
Okay, so we're only off by 6.
Their offense hasn't looked very good.
Yeah,
it just hasn't.
That's what I'm saying.
Dalton Kincaid has looked good. I'll say that.
Yes, yeah. I could agree.
Outside of him, I haven't been very impressed with Josh Allen or Stephon Diggs, and they don't run the ball. So.
And I think that their time is over. I do. I think the time
so
has run out. I don't think Josh Allen's time is over because you could build around him for another 15, 17 years.
I think Stephon Diggs' time is over.
But I think the dynamic is
bring him
over.
to the Cowboys. We'll take him.
You just want and he will be the number 1.
No, he will not. He will not be the number 1 receiver.
And now for my next trick, CeeDee Lamb, as I will disappear.
No, CeeDee Lamb is the real deal. You will see. CeeDee Lamb is a top 5 wide receiver right now.
That's wild. Yeah, probably bottom 5. You got your numbers fixed up. Now he's playing really well.
Wide receiver right now.
CeeDee Lamb is playing really good football, but he does have games where he just disappears. So I don't know. I don't know. It's hard because Diggs puts up numbers weekly.
He does.
Well, when he's getting the ball.
Mm-hmm. But I think having his brother on the team would help some of that.
It could. It could.
So I think CeeDee Lamb would stay at the 1. I think Stephon would go to the 2. Just because I think as of right now, I have them both top 5. I have Stephon 4, CD 5. I could easily flip them with the way Stephon's been playing lately.
Also because of his quarterback.
Yeah, true. But I have Jay Jettas, Jamar, And then
Devontae's not there. What, did he fall asleep at the wheel?
Devontae hasn't put up anything.
What are you
I
talking
have
about? The games
Devontae
that he has
6.
played,
I have
the
Devontae
games
6.
that he, the games that he has played, like that he's actually had a quarterback like throw the ball and reach him. He's been outstanding. He's still the number
True.
top 5 receiver in the
I
league. He
have him
just doesn't have
6.
the points to back it.
Forget who my third one was though, but I had Jettas, Jamar. My number 3 forgot Stephon, CD, then Devontae.
I would say either 7 or 8 would be Ayuk. I think he's making a tremendous turnaround this season.
I think he's been.
He's
very
got a
good
lot
this
of receiving yards, and he's still got 7 games to go.
Yep.
So he's definitely in the top 10 discussion for wide receivers this year.
This brings up our question for the Bills though: is the Bills' season's over after the loss to Cincinnati?
Absolutely. It's done. The dynamic is done. I don't see their coach, which I'm drawing a blank at his
Sean
name
McDermott?
right now. Sean McDermott. I think he's a great coach. I don't think he's going anywhere. I don't think Josh Allen's going anywhere. But that defense has lowered themselves. They were once number 2 in the league or number 1. Then they went down to 8, and now they're literally like 16. I don't have the numbers in front of me.
They're at 5.
They're at 5. Okay, so they're at 5 right now, their defense?
17.8 points a game, right behind the
Okay, well,
49ers.
Okay, well then the defense is not the same as it used to be, though. I will tell you that, and they are missing a couple of guys now. I know that Edmonds left. I think he's with Dallas now, right?
I don't think
Or
so.
is Tremaine Edmonds now with the Bills? Is it reversed?
We didn't have Dallas did not have Tremaine Edmonds.
I could have sworn you guys got him. Okay,
Uh,
well, either way,
see.
whatever team, they lost a couple of guys.
The Bears.
I just
the Bears got him.
The Bears got him. Okay. So they lost a couple of guys. I just don't see the dynamic between him and Diggs lasting. Diggs, I love him as a receiver, tremendous athlete and a very nice man, but he's a ticking time bomb when he wants the ball. He has that Ocho Cinco attitude as well as that T.O. attitude that he's bigger than the game. I'm not saying that Josh Allen doesn't do the same thing. He needs to get his head out of his butt because he makes a lot of boneheaded moves. But I just don't see the dynamic staying, and I think this is it for them.
I think it is too. I think with that loss, they're not even in the playoffs right now. First
No,
off,
they're not. The AFC is much better than the NFC.
I think they will definitely compete for the, 6, 7 seed.
Yeah, they will. They will compete.
They're not going anywhere in the playoffs
No.
unless they have a miracle run. I think the only way they stay together is if they have a miracle run.
Totally agree with that, honestly.
So I took the Bills 24-10, and you took
I
them
said
30-10.
30-10, yeah.
Alrighty,
That's it.
that is the full slate of games. Rob, did you have any other debate questions?
No, I think I'm good, honestly, Zion.
That's
I
all
want
I
to
have.
thank everybody for checking out episode 1, though, of
Yeah.
our podcast.
Definitely. Thank you all. This is episode 1. There will be more episodes throughout the rest of the NFL season, so stay tuned. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Give us some ideas, honestly. We definitely want to make the production better. First one, testing some stuff out. Let us know some ideas. If you want to see anything talked about, we can definitely do some rankings, stuff like that. Players or power rankings. We could even come up with our own power rankings.
Absolutely. And if you do want to see other sports, me and Zion are open to it in the future.
Yep.
I am a big UFC fan. He does love basketball, golf, and other stuff. We would love to add to the channel. Please leave it in the comments what you think, if there's anything that you want us to work on, or even stuff that you want us to add. We really appreciate it. We're excited, and also cut the nonsense. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Rob,
We're ready for episode 2.
I will see you next time, and cut the nonsense.
Cut the nonsense, guys. Thank you.